At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
All right. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. Oh, it's such a good feeling. Such a good feeling. Okay. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome to the Pig Trail Network YouTube channel. I'm Ty Hudson, the owner, creator, the hostess with the mostest. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm Ty Hudson, Pig Trail Network. Do me a favor, like. Tombstone pile drive the like button. Oh, I haven't done a wrestling move like drop in a while, have I? I swore I'd keep going because a couple people were like, I don't like that. Let's stop with the wrestling stuff. No, I kept going for a little while, and then we kind of slowed down, but we're right back at it. We're gonna do that. I'm gonna do it again on the postgame show too on Saturday, win or lose. Let's hope Ole Miss doesn't do a stunner on the Razorbacks tomorrow down in Oxford at 11 o'clock. It's gonna be a fight. It's very similar. I found it interesting. I've been watching video here and there, and I didn't watch their entire Alabama performance, but I watched quite a bit of it. I watched a little bit of the Louisville game, week one, their week one matchup. Some things stood out a little bit, but it was so similar because I'm sitting here and I'm like, it's for the same reasons going into the A&M game where I was like, I don't know what to I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's going to happen. But with the success that Arkansas has had outside of this most recent game down in Athens, we knew, I'm 5-0 on my picks. I'm 5-0. I picked Arkansas to win the first 4, and I picked them to drop against Georgia. I did not think it would be a complete blowout. I was completely wrong about that. I thought Arkansas would beat the spread, and they clearly they did not, and it was bad, But it's similar this week to the A&M game because first off, we know what A&M is on defense. Now their defense is taking a step back. I think they're running back into I think they're having some more injury issues. I really don't know what's going on, but it was the same thing going into that game, right? We really didn't know about A&M. We knew they were frauds. We knew they didn't belong in the top 10, and I said on Mark Rogers that they definitely don't belong there. I thought they were a ranked opponent, but I didn't think they were top 10. We knew they were a fraud in that sense. But looking at that defense, like they were getting better, they were getting healthier. Their linebackers were shooting gaps faster. They played in between. They played that 53 yards wide, the width of the field, really well. They moved well. They're fast. They've got talent. Not like Georgia. Not on the same planet. On the same planet, not in the same zip code. Kind of, in terms of where they're at. And I sat here with the same kind of look on my face. Like I really don't know what to expect in this game, even though I picked Arkansas by a little bit. And then what happened in that game? It was Arkansas by a lot, and it could have been a lot worse had KJ been able to play in the second half. So I think a lot of what, when people look at Arkansas and they look at their offense and they look at their point production, they're not looking at how they've come to that where they're at, right? They overlook the fact that, again, against the salty defense, we can just agree on that. A&M is salty. They're not on the same. They're not neighbors to Georgia. They're not in the same neighborhood as Georgia when you're talking about defense. But somewhere maybe within the zip code or outside it, I don't know. And Arkansas went up and down the field on a neutral site that, from what I understand, was pretty 50-50 and pretty damn loud. A&M fans were loud. And then Arkansas lays an egg completely on offense against Georgia. They're overwhelmed. To say they got hit in the jaw is an understatement. I mean, they got flat out rocked. I mean, it was deer in headlights, mistakes galore. So here you go. Here's your next test. It's the same. To me, it has the same feeling as that A&M game, except maybe Ole Miss is ranked exactly where they should be, and their offense, led by Matt Corral, who has not thrown a pick this year, who has scored a lot this year. I think he's averaging about 4 touchdowns a game just on his own. This guy is, I think you could even make a case for him to be on the Heisman list right now. He's playing lights out. Ole Miss's offense is clicking. But again, it's like I don't know what to expect. Is Lane Kiffin and this offense, or have they been talking up about what happened last year? Is Matt Corral going to be like, is his goal to right the wrong that he did last year against Arkansas secondary when Arkansas was dropping back, everybody, including the kitchen sink, and they're picking him off clean left and right by a walk-on freshman corner, redshirt freshman corner in Hudson Clark. And like he's getting picked clean. Like is that something they've circled all off season? And if that's the case, you can't quantify that. I can't sit here and tell you that. Okay, well, we know they circled this game and they're gonna play absolutely lights out. And also, there's some other factors to this game as well. There's some other factors, like how well do these two teams bounce back from their losses. Ole Miss's loss was a little less humiliating because on paper, Alabama's the number 1 team in the country, even though I think most of us agree that Georgia's the better football team, at least right now. In their current state, that it could change. They could get a little banged up along the way and so on and so forth. But Ole Miss took a punch to the face and they didn't stop. And that gives me a lot of concerns. They didn't stop. Their defense is not very good. Are they improved from last year? Well, yeah, it's not hard to improve from 14th in the country or 14th in the SEC, like 120s across the board on defense last year in the country in terms of rank. This year they're better. They're better, but they're not night and day better on defense. But I will say their offense is actually better. I think better than what they were at a year ago. Far fewer turnovers. But they had a lot of penalties. They make a lot of mistakes. All right, do me a favor. Again, like the stream. Please like the stream. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Check out all the links provided for you down below in the description box. Shout out to the Patreon supporters. By the way, I haven't updated. If you look there, the Patreon list is updated on September. But when I click on my advertisements panel here, it switches to August because I have not updated that. Switch it back there. But that's your updated Patreon list for the month of September. Again, I got to remind people I'm unable to update that list until Patreon sends me these people are your Patreon supporters. They contributed financially here. There you go. Nobody backed out. I've done that before. I used to get in the habit of putting people on the list as soon as they joined. and then they would back off. They made the list, and now they backed off, and I wouldn't catch it for like a week. And I was like, oh, crap. So I stopped doing that. So now I just wait until Patreon sends me the updated list, which is usually like 4 or 5 days into the following month, right? And that got sent to me when? The 4th, I think? The 3rd Sunday? So I updated it as soon as I saw it. Or no, maybe it was the middle of the week. Maybe it was after Monday's show. But I got it updated. So, all right. We have Discord questions. For those of you who are in our Discord, you could click on that thread. It's score prediction and Arkansas player of the game, even win or lose, MVP, whatever you want to call it. Someone took issue with that. And you could still be a valuable player to your team even though you don't win. You may not be the most valuable player of the game, and I've seen times when that has been the case, where someone was clearly the best player, but you know what? The rest of the team just didn't put it together and they lost. So I stuck with the MVP. Win or lose, who's your Razorback MVP, and what's your score prediction? So pretty simple. I thought it was a simple question. I just want your score. The score is difficult. I will agree with that. Score is difficult. This is a tough one, man. This is a tough one. It's like this every week, and it doesn't get any easier. Like I said, in terms of predicting, you still got Auburn left next weekend. Then you've got Little Rock, Pine Bluff. I mean, you get a freebie that weekend. At least, I mean, you feel that way, right? I know years past that's not always been the case, but Chad Morris is not here anymore. He can't hurt us. I hope his spirit isn't lingering somewhere in the athletic department. And then, of course, you have the bye week. I haven't made up my mind what we're going to do for shows that week. We're still going to do shows, but I don't know. They may be short, and there may only be like 2 shows on a bye week. I don't know. Of course, we're going to do the Monday reaction on the 25th. Maybe we only do like a Monday, Wednesday show. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind. I haven't thought of what on earth do I do with a bye week. I mean, all we have to talk about is reactions from the which would be the Pine Bluff game going into your bye week. So I don't know yet. Stand by on that. We're still a little ways away from that. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but I'll be sure and try to update you guys, give you an idea. Sometimes I don't even know until the Sunday before that week. Like, I don't know what I'm doing this week. And so then I try to put everything together Sunday night and then probably post on Discord somewhere or whatever. All right. Share the content too. Please share. That means everything when you share. That is a huge, awesome thing for you to do. And I would greatly appreciate it. It goes a really long ways. Let me give a quick shout out, of course, to the to you Patreon supporters. Again, thank you guys, to all you guys here live. I appreciate it. And all of you who are coming back after the fact, watching later. I've been drinking green tea this morning, and I don't know. It's got a weird, earthy aftertaste. I'm not a big green tea guy, but I hear it's good for health. So I was like, all right. Sponsors, shout out to them, of course. Direct Service Overhead, and these guys who will repair or replace your garage door. You can visit their website, again, down below in the description box. They've got, you can give them a call. Travis Ford and the boys, they'll hook you up, man. They do good work. And again, they operate out of Central Arkansas and in Northwest Arkansas. Stated Apparel, who sell the softest shirts in the state of Arkansas that are made in the state of Arkansas. You can check out their entire inventory over at statedapparel.me and or is it /me? Maybe it's .me. I don't know. It's in the link. But if you use the code TIROCKS, all caps, you get an additional 10% off. They sell known clothing brands as well, such as Native and Southern Marsh. And you could also, if you happen to be in Little Rock, hey, you're going to be there soon on the 23rd. If you happen to be near downtown Benton, which is not far from Little Rock, you can go check out what they have available in store. Tell them Ty sent you. Say, old Ty Hudson on that Pig Trail Network on his show told me to come by. That's coming up on the 23rd. So, again, both their links are provided for you down below in the description box. And of course, if you're in our PTN Discord, there's a PTN sponsor page there as well where you can go and check that out. Also, a little bit of a surprise. Wednesday, we fooled around a little bit. Ooh. We dabbled around with the Discord phone lines. We have a Discord phone line. I think I'm going to open it up. I think I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bounce down in there. If you are in our Discord, I think I'm going to open that bad boy up for you. Let me show you. For those of you who are like, what the hell is he talking about? Here we go. Right? All right. You go. Where's our? There it is. Discord. Okay. It's right here on the left side. Come down here to voice channels, and I'm going to be in Thai Talks. All right. There I go. I'm in it. Start the stage, and we're just going to do. How about we're going to name it Fridays? I don't know. PTN Live. There we go. There it is. We sampled it Wednesday and we didn't have any issues, so hopefully it'll do the same. Again, you click if you're in our PTN Discord, scroll down, and if you're on your phone, you just tap that little column on the left, and you scroll down to Thai Talks, and click it, and you can join. I know I'm dropping that on you randomly. You guys are probably like, good grief. Come on, give us a heads up, Ty. Come on, you could do better than that. Give us a heads up. But we got to start it one way or another, and here we go. It's a little treat for you guys who come through and that are here live. So, let's see. Let's get caught up on chat. Josh Weaver, yo. Big Donnelly, Woo Pig. Robert Ainsworth, how you doing, my man? Yo. Hey, y'all. My first stream in a long time. What's up, Mike Griffith? How you doing? Lasozo Eagle, Woo Pig. Bad day to be an Ole Miss fan, says Josh Weaver. This is our first true test for the secondary. We need to get up off the mat from last week, says Shaheed Mustafa. You are correct, sir. Scott Swindle, Woo Pig, Big Donnelly. We should dominate both fronts. Woo Pig Suey, let's go. Hogs 31, Ole Miss 28. I forgot all about the stink face. Oh, my God. Oh, that's a good one. Here we go. Here we go, baby. Captain Mike, another week. Go Hogs. Now, that's a shirt we can all get behind, says Bloodline. By the way, this is the Flamingo Friday shirt. I stopped doing the Flamingo Friday, but I thought I'd bring it back. But also, do you know what color that is? Do you know what color that is? And yeah, I totally thought about this when I did it. You guys gave me shit for wearing powder blue on Wednesday. Powder blue is not an official school color of the Ole Miss Rebels. This is. So do you see where I'm going with this? You see where I'm going with this? Like if I have red, I have like one red shirt. If I put that on, I'm wearing Ole Miss Rebel red, which by the way is Cardinal red, which is also the Razorbacks official red color. So you guys in your picking and choosing what to bitch about, give me a break. I can't win here. This is a navy blue, but it's my Flamingo shirt, and I wanted to wear it because it's Friday, Flamingo Friday. I was going to wear my Razorback shirt or my jersey, but I'm going to wait. I might wear that tomorrow on the postgame show. I'm just saying, you guys in your, you can't wear this. Get out of here. Wear what I want. Black coffee, Ty, come on. What about it? No, coffee's too acidic. I don't know how acidic green tea is. My wife's... No, not my wife. Who told me? Maybe I read it somewhere. I was told that green tea is not near as acidic. If it is acidic at all, it's not as acidic as coffee. Trying to take care of the tummy, and I've heard that green tea is like really good for that. Usually during bye week, I just read... Oh, my God. Georgia fan rooting for the Hogs this week. Thanks, Raby. I appreciate that, man. Time to kick some Ole Miss butt. Will, by the way, if you guys have noticed, I've got a new – I just realized my watermark is over the top of the I'll have to fix that. I'll have to drop the watermark. But Will's responsible for that new – what I call the red wall. That's what I started naming it. I had a hell of a time, Will, getting that to fit in OBS. It's not even properly fitted, but I did the best I could. It's got the black – borderline there, but that's not really the borderline. That's just where the camera meets and the graphic stops. So I was like, well, it looks fine. But the bottom, you could tell where you used I forgot what that setting is on Photoshop that makes it look like not cunt. I forgot what it's called, but it's on the bottom. So I did the best I could. I hate dealing with that, trying to get everything to measure up right. Anything is better than A&M Maroon. Thank you so much for that. Ty, what's up, man? Not saying this is a must-win or the season is over, but if we come away with a win Saturday, the Hogs have a great chance to go 3-1 during the 4-game stretch. I agree with that 110% because I think Ole Miss is better than Auburn. I think Ole Miss is better than Auburn. Now, it's kind of the same thing with Auburn. Like, what the hell are they really? Who are these teams? Okay. Now, do we have it? Okay. Remember, Tide Talks is open if anybody wants to join. The phone lines are open if you're in our Discord. If you want to hop in here, and I'm going to give you guys, I don't know, I'll give you like 30 seconds, maybe 40, I don't know. I'll give you a little bit. If you want to get in and ask some questions or if you just want to make a comment, it's open. Phone lines are open. And if you get in there and I don't see it, remind me in the main chat, and I'll be sure and correct that. I'll get you in here. Here's the Discord if you guys want to join. There it is. Bevel, laugh out loud. What? Did I mess something else up? Ty, my guy, first time live, great show. Hey, I appreciate that, Mathew Fitzgerald. You could do like a shot clock timer for the call-ins. I've had some ideas about that, and someone also mentioned, hey, you could get a sponsor for your call-in show. Yeah, I've given that thought too. I've got some ideas to do with the call-in. I really do. I've got some stuff I want to try out. Obviously, as we go on, assuming it does what I want it to, we'll keep doing it. As long as we have people that want to do it. Now, if I don't have anyone hopping in here, then I probably won't do it. But as of right now, there's nobody in there. So if you want to come in and you have something to say, you just want to say woo pig, or you want to give your prediction live, think of it just like a radio show. You hop in there. You give me, you either at me on in the live chat. If I don't see you, say, hey Ty, I'm in there. I want to say something. I'll give you your time there. All right, let's get into it. Ole Miss, Arkansas. This is, well, hang on. First we got to talk about what Mike Golick said really quick. This caught my eye, and I think someone on our Discord shared the link. I saw it yesterday. Mike Golick likes what he sees from the Big Ten Conference and the Big Ten East Conference in 2021 so far. He likes them so much that he presented the argument Thursday on the College Sports Now podcast that the Big Ten East Division is better than the SEC West Division. The Big Ten East is better than the SEC West, Golick said. Hands down, he was making an argument. I don't have the entire quote of everything that he said. I was going to try and capture that and let you guys listen to it. It's hard to argue with it, though. It's kind of hard to argue with what he was saying. I don't know why my records aren't up here. But the Big Ten, which the Big Ten East is made up of Indiana, Maryland, Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State, and Rutgers. By the way, Penn State, who is undefeated, who is 5-0, should have lost to a middle-of-the-road SEC Auburn team. I'm going to throw that out there. I'm not going to go down their rabbit hole of who all they've played, and I'm not even going to disagree with them. The Big Ten East is pretty good. They've got a handful of undefeateds. In fact, they have more undefeateds than the SEC West does in the Big Ten East. I would argue, and this wasn't what he was saying, but I would ask, okay, now do the rest of the conference. Mike. You remember Mike Golick from Mike and Mike. I like that. I like Mike and Mike. My only problem was they didn't go on far beyond like the NFL. That was their thing. I think that was actually what they were. It was more of an NFL-centric show. But I enjoyed Mike and Mike. That was a good show for what it was if you had nothing else to listen to. But and when they had their show, those were the years where the Rams were not very good, and it was really hard to listen to them talk about the Rams. But, by the way, Rams got that dub last night over Seattle. I don't know if you guys caught that or not. Oh, such a good game, too. Russell Wilson got benched. I still don't know what the hell happened. Someone's going to have to tell me what happened with Russell Wilson getting benched. My wife and I, what were we doing? We're eating dinner or something. We had softball last night. It went a little late with our oldest daughter, our oldest daughter's softball game, which she's in coach pitch, and if any of you know what that's like, it can take a while. It went way over, so I missed a portion of the game. By the time we got home and ate dinner, so I don't know what happened. Russell Wilson didn't finish the game. So it was Geno Smith, wasn't it, that came in and closed it out. But I don't know if he got hurt or if they were worried or if he was having a bad game. it's so odd because Russell Wilson, you're talking about it. I mean, come on, Russell Wilson. We know what he's done. He's been great at Seattle. But anyways, what a game. My Rams are 4-1, and I'm so excited about that. Anyways, Golick's argument, it's hard. It's difficult to challenge it I think, and one of the reasons why I bring this up is it too early to tell, or has the SEC started to slip a little bit, or are we overlooking? And I get it. He was talking about the SEC West, but he didn't want to talk about the SEC overall. Say what you want about Florida. They're down. Who's taking their place this year? Kentucky. Kentucky's taking their place in the East. Now, it is just Georgia and probably everybody else. Kentucky's not on the same – they're definitely not in the same zip code as a team. I just found that interesting, but it's not surprising. Mike Golick hates the SEC, by the way. This guy's come out and said some crazy things. Also, Sports Illustrated released their mock 2022 first-round NFL draft picks. I don't know if you guys have read that yet. Now, SI is really hard to take serious these days. They just are. But they're also the first publication or whatever to have a mock draft that has this many Razorbacks in the first round. We'll go down it really quick. Jalen Catalon is the first Razorback taken off the board. Round 1, pick number 13 to the Washington football team. Again, your second first rounder, pick number 25, Ricky Stromberg to the Jets. Center, Ricky Stromberg. I've told you guys since he signed, he's got NFL potential. This is a guy, when he signed, I said I like him to come in and probably compete for playing time. And over the years, and I think a lot of you agree, and a lot of you, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, Ricky Stromberg's NFL talent. This is the first, any site, any reputable, and again, like I said, SI you probably don't take as serious as you once did 10, 15, 20 years ago. But, boy, they've really struggled in the era of the .com sports websites. They've really struggled. But they do have some pretty good writers over there, and they do still put out some decent content. I don't know that I take this super serious or not, but it's interesting to see a major publication have this many first-rounders out of Arkansas. So, again, Ricky Stromberg, or Jalen Catalon at pick 13, Ricky Stromberg at pick 25, and Treylon Burks, I don't know how I feel. I like the Baltimore move. To the Baltimore Ravens, Treylon Burks, pick number 26. Could you imagine if you had 3 first-round draft picks? The last time you had Frank Ragnow in the bottom end of the first-round draft a couple of years ago to the Lions. When was the last time you had even just 2 guys taken in the first round? What was that, when D-Mac and Felix went? I think that was when D-Mac and – what year was that, 08 or whatever? Incredible. It's awesome. Now, Catalon's production has dropped. I don't know if that's just by design, if that's just I don't know if this is – I don't know what the issue is. And we had heard the rumor that he's banged up his hand, but like I said, you got to take that with a grain of salt. I really don't know. It wouldn't shock me knowing what we eventually found out about a couple of players who were playing with injuries either through the season or through even spring camp. We didn't know about those injuries until the first week of fall camp. I mean, think about that. You don't find out about any of that stuff until, almost mid-August. Whether spring injuries or guys, we found out Raheem Sanders wasn't as explosive because he had an ankle sprain or he was dealing with an ankle or a foot injury. And then, of course, we found out Bumper Pool was playing 75% of the season with broken ribs. So I don't know if Catalon is playing with you can play with a bum hand. You can. Like I said, guy I played high school football with did. He was an offensive lineman, played left guard. And we know that Mathew Hestand played with his right hand wrapped up. Played with basically a nub and a full hand. So I don't know. If there's truth in that, it would make sense. It would make sense. And I have a feeling we won't know anything about it until either when he gets drafted or next year, assuming he comes back. But I'm going to tell you, if he keeps getting – and then another reason why that matters, even though it's just SI, even though it's just Sports Illustrated, they are still considered a major publication. And so you're getting that kind of – infamy or whatever, your name's being dropped here and there. If you don't think someone whispered to Catalon's ear, like, hey, dude, SI put you – I mean, think about that. Think about that. You're 19 or however old he is. What is he, 20, 19, 20? And someone, or you look that up and you see the SI has you in the first round. If you don't think he's considering that, I don't know what to tell you. I certainly think that, but I'll be honest with you, I was surprised. Someone in here a couple of weeks ago said Catalan has first round written all over him. And I said, well, my hesitation is his size. He's not your typical 6'1", 6'1" size, 220 safety. He's got some bulk on him, but he's also sub 6 foot. And that does sometimes get counted against him. But congrats to him. I hope he doesn't go, but he's got to do what's best for him. And if he does, the same thing with Ricky Stromberg and Traylon Burks. All three of these guys could return next year if they wanted to. So, all right. Moving on to Ole Miss. Let me check chat here really quick. Burks has been in nearly everyone's top 20. Well, so not true. CBS Sports last week barely had him drafted at all in the first round, and there was another one. Sporting News had him out of the top. I think they may have had him out of the top 25. And if you're talking about this week, again, that changes week to week. It changes week to week. We know that. Imagine Burks and Jackson running the option together. Dude, I know Lamar Jackson isn't – he started off great, and we were talking about him maybe being as good or better than Mahomes, and now it's pretty clear to most people that Mahomes is the better quarterback, but Lamar is fun to watch, man. Lamar Jackson is fun to watch. I think we just have more playmakers, so he's not having to do everything. Oh, Catalan. I agree with that, except that last year the productivity you got out of him was with the same players. Bumper Pool, Grant Morgan. Maybe you could argue Henry's production this year has really soaked that up, because maybe last year where you didn't have the ability to rotate those linebackers like you do this year, which is one of the reasons why they run the 3-2-6. They don't want to run the 3-4 like we thought Odom might do here. I didn't expect them to convert to the 3-2. In fact, the media was asking Odom about running the 3-4. They don't have the linebackers to run the 3-4. That's why I said we'll either see a 4-front, like a 4-3 over defense with your front seven, or maybe they run just a straight-up nickel defense, which is 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and then the rest secondaries, however you want to utilize that nickel spot, that nickel corner position, or nickel safety, however you want to look at it. Some people call it the wolf, the jack, whatever. But maybe that you've got a point, though. Maybe Henry's emergence this year is someone who you can rely on to rotate in, and not even just be someone to be there to help rotation, but to be there to make plays. Maybe that's what's going on. But I know through 8 quarters he has 9 tackles. And I don't think he's recorded even a pass breakup. We know he hasn't recorded a pick or a forced fumble or anything in those 8 quarters, which is unlike him. Last year it was like he was either top 2 in tackles, top 2, top 3 in tackles every week, or he was forcing turnovers, or he was whatever. And again, you had a 10-game sample size, not as large as you're going to have this year, but I don't know. It seemed too like, you talk about that Spiller missed tackle. How many missed tackles has Catalan had in his career? You could probably only count on one hand, and think about the amount of snaps he's played at Arkansas. So I don't know. Maybe there is some truth to the injury. I'm not sure. Get Hudson Henry involved in the offense. I agree. I'm talking about we see defensive line making the. Oh, okay. Right, yeah, and that could be true too. And also guys like Fouché making more plays. Prayers up. What's going on, Big Man Ross? What's up with Big Man Ross? What's going on with him? Oh, okay. Sorry, in late to chat. My little brother was in a motorcycle wreck, so I had to book it to Belleville. Well, man, hey, look, I appreciate you being here, man, but the family always comes first. You guys don't owe me any explanation at all. I appreciate you being here, though, Ross, but, man, I hope your brother's okay. Good grief. Just got real in here. Ross, man, I hate to hear that, man. I hope he's okay. Keep us updated. I think you're in our Discord. Keep us up to date, man. Okay. Ole Miss. What is going on with Ole Miss? Ole Miss, we have an injury update. Jerion Ely is in concussion protocol. I don't know if this is common or not. It seems like anytime you had a player, at least in the modern era of football, especially the last 6 years, when a guy's in concussion protocol all week, it's one thing to be in it, and I'm not sure if they've changed how that works, but like you would hear about a guy being in protocol early on in the week, and then they would make a judgment midweek, and then if they're not out there by Thursday, then they're not playing or whatever. A&M saw that against us, and they played their guy who was in concussion protocol. Who that was is slipping my mind right now, but now you've got Ely. I don't know if he's going to play or not. He's got 40 carries on the year for them, 204 yards. He's averaging about 5 yards per attempt. He's also got 8 catches for 79 yards. He is a big part of that offense, but they've got a couple of guys at that position that can kind of rotate. Left guard Caleb Warren underwent surgery Thursday morning. He's going to be out, which isn't a huge blow to them, but it's a blow. Anytime you have a starting offensive lineman, I'm pretty sure he's been their starter every week. The biggest hit to them, without a doubt, it's Jonathan Mingo, who a lot of that offense, don't get me wrong, they've got Drummond. They've got guys. Drummond is really kind of their Treylon Burks, by the way. Going to have to figure out how to contain him. But Mingo was their, what is he, 6'2", 6'3", 225. Doesn't have the athleticism like a Treylon Burks with that frame, but is a big part. He's one of those guys they like to throw 50-50 jump balls to, and he can be dangerous after the catch. But Mingo's going to be out. He had a foot injury. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know how long he's going to be out, but he's definitely out for this one by the sounds of it. And they've been without safety Jake Springer. He's been out all year. But that's kind of what's going on with them and their injuries. So, moving on to the steak and potatoes here. What is it that makes Ole Miss? Are they better, or are they about where they were at last year on offense? What's going on? I think they're in. Look, last year it's not fair to compare, but you consider they played. I don't know where they're at in the SOS and the strength of schedule, but it had to be up there, being in the SEC and playing an SEC-only conference schedule, even though it was just 10 games. Last year they were pretty impressive. Year one, despite their massive amounts of turnovers, Matt Corral, of course, we know what he did with Arkansas and LSU. He turned the ball over a ton. They struggled with penalties last year, but I think this year it might be worse. They're as bad as Arkansas. They're maybe right behind Arkansas in penalties. I think Arkansas averages about almost 10 penalties a game. And Arkansas has been penalized double digits twice this year already. Good God, you got to cut that in half. But I think their offense is actually better than where it was at last year. Now, they haven't played an SEC-only schedule, and the most legit team they played this year spanked them, and they weren't able to put up the points until Alabama was already up, 40-something to 7. And then Ole Miss was able to score late, and I don't think Ole Miss's defense, I don't think they're neighbors to Georgia. Not the way they've played so far this year. So Ole Miss has not played anyone, in my opinion, like a Texas. Say what you want about A&M. Maybe Louisville is their closest game to that. Their closest second game to the Alabama game, which you would compare to the Georgia game for Arkansas. But they haven't played the schedule the Hogs have played. But they have the 17th ranked passing offense in the country, which is good for top 3 in the SEC. Top 25, I think they're floating around the top 25 in just percentage again, they're through 4 games. Most other teams have played 5. A lot of teams are just now getting to their bye weeks. They had a bye week early this year, and they're top 3 in the SEC in total offense, top 20 in the country. 10th overall rushing offense in the country, 2nd in the SEC. I thought I read that wrong. I might want to double-check that. Ranked 3rd in the country in total offense. Again, despite only 4 games, ranked 5th in scoring offense in the country, top 25 on 4th down conversions. They're 14 of 19 on the year. They've gone for it quite a bit. They went for it on Alabama like 5 times. Of course, that backfired on them. But they're 73% on the year on 4th down. That's another stat I need to take another look at. 3rd down, they've not been, I think they're actually worse than Arkansas on 3rd down, or right there with them. They're just north of about 38% on 3rd down conversion. And their red zone scoring is north of 80%. They're pretty good in the red zone. They're not elite in the red zone, but they're pretty good there. They put up a lot of points one way or another. They don't have to be in the red zone to score. That's how good Corral has been in this offense. They don't run the ball a ton. Obviously, that's Arkansas's bread and butter. They're going to run it. The Rebels went 2 for 5 on fourth downs last week against the Crimson Tide. The 3 failed conversions became Crimson Tide touchdowns. So, and also talking about what they were able to do. Again, they were able to get things going late in that game against Alabama. Alabama at this point has subbed players. They're playing a little bit of a mix of prevent defense, and all of a sudden Ole Miss, Ole Miss is the kind of offense where if you give them an open, they're going to take it. If you start subbing guys out, they're good enough. They're going to spot that, and they're going to be able to exploit wherever the inexperience or the lesser of the talented part of your defense is. They're good enough. Lane Kiffin and Matt Corral and that whole offense is good enough. They understand what's in front of them. And again, Corral hasn't thrown a pick. He hasn't thrown a pick. I don't know if he does against Arkansas or not. Their takeaway defense is not hot right now. They're not like what they were a year ago. And that also gives you a little bit of a concern. Arkansas forced that many picks a year ago in Fayetteville, and they still barely managed to win that game. That's something to think about. So does that end? Does Corral throw a pick? And maybe that's another question. Again, for those of you who are curious, the phone line's still open, by the way, if anyone wants to join. But Arkansas forced that many turnovers a year ago. Edged them out. And you got to give the defense, you got to give them credit. They were incredible last year. And that was the game between that and the Mississippi State game where it was like, or even the second half against Auburn, where it clearly looked like Arkansas's defense is just, they have arrived. Year 0 and they've arrived. But yeah, again, 2 for 5 last week on Alabama on fourth down. And all 3 of those, isn't that what they lost by? 21 points or 3 scores? More than 3 scores? But all 3 of those fourth downs that they failed on, Alabama was able to capitalize on and win. So, for one game only have Bishop Clark. We're 17. The Hogs offense was atrocious in that game, and we could have punched it in again, but Pittman kneeled the ball. How to get on the phone line? So again, you join our Discord. Do I still have that link? Let me see. I do. There's the Discord. You can join, and all you do, again, I'll share my screen again here for you. All you do is you scroll down here on the left. I know I popped this on you guys out of nowhere, but for those of you who are in our Discord, you just scroll down. And if you want to hop on stage, you click in that Ty Talks chat right here. It'll show you down here, and then you put a request in, and then that's it. You put a request in, I spot it, hopefully, which I will. But you got to make sure I know. Like, hit me up. If I don't see it, hit me up in the chat or hit me up in Discord. We had a couple of people join. Cam74 joined and Browns joined. So just click on that left part of the screen, and you're in. You're in, baby. All right. It's hard to win any game if you throw 6 interceptions. Oh, exactly, right. The hurt offensive lineman is on the side with Trey Williams. Yeah, he's their left guard. Would love to see Lucas Coley in a game, but in Arkansas against Pine Bluff, he is a true dual option quarterback. Looked good in red-white game. I believe he is future after KJ leaves. Would also like to see Renfro, says Blake. Ole Miss has to figure out how to stop Arkansas too. Hogs running game gets right. We'll get there. James, good old James Arnold, jump the gun, James. I got you, brother. Just hang on. We'll get there. Remember, these shows are an hour. We're getting there. We do have a couple of people in there now. We have a person in the Ty Talks. We got a couple. All right. Lee Dunavant wants to say something. Here, make it quick because I'm about to go on a rant, Lee. Here we go. Hope you got your mic on. Remember, have a mic available. Here we go. Oh, shoot. I don't have my speaker on. Hang on. And we may also wait the final minutes to do it, too. We may do it at the end of the show. Do the invites. But we're gonna play around with it here. What's up, Lee? What do you got for me, man?
Hey, man, how's it going?
Going pretty good.
Hey, I just want to throw this out there. If Arkansas can run the ball, we going to win. I'd like to see a pass to Burks, but overall, run the ball, we're going to win this game. Woo pig.
I love it. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'm not really sure what to do. How do you – there he goes. Then he backs out on his own. Again, there we go. There's our first one. That's technically our first official call-in. Shout out to you, sir. Appreciate it. Lines are open. I'll keep them open. I'm going to try my best to keep up with it. And you got to hit the request button there on the bottom. All right, so what else is it going down this list here? They do something similar on defense. Now, you're talking about they got to stop Arkansas. You're exactly right. Their defense is not good. Ole Miss is somewhat – actually, they're almost identical. Another 3-2-6 defense like Odom. A lot of timely blitzing. They're not that I've seen. They haven't looked overly aggressive most of the year. They are 84th overall in the run defense. They allow almost 152 yards on the ground this year with 9 touchdowns given up on the ground. 59th overall pass defense in the country. 217 yards per game. They've given up 6 scores there. Something that stood out to me, seniors Jalen Jones and Deion Leonard, they've struggled in man coverage a little bit this year. Multiple coverage busts against Alabama. Their receivers were able to run free. They had some pass interference calls on deep balls against both Austin Peay and Tulane. They struggle a little bit. And when you see teams getting those kind of, deep ball flags, it's because those receivers or those corners got beat. Hudson Clark's had to do it a couple of times this year when he's been on the field. And that's why I think Monteric Brown is one of the most underrated corners in the SEC. The guy can cover most everything. Now, it's not to say that, he might run into flag trouble this weekend. I don't know. But what we've seen the last couple of years, rarely does he have to pull on a jersey. And by the way, guys, you can't do that. You got to let go of the jersey. And you can't have your arm wrapped around their torso. I've seen people bitch about that, and it's like, are you paying attention to what a holding call is? You cannot hold on to the jersey where you see that fabric being exposed and being stretched out. You're going to get hit with a holding call. But Arkansas, for the most part, they're not getting beat on a lot of deep balls. Ole Miss, that's the opposite. Their pass rush has been effective this year. They've got 12 sacks through 4 games. Obviously, that's 3 sacks per game. Not too bad. They can strip the ball. They average about a fumble per game, but they've only got 2 INTs on the year. Switching over to Arkansas on defense really fast. The Razorbacks have allowed the 6th fewest plays gaining 10 or more yards, and that's in the country. 7th fewest in gaining 20 yards or more. And remember, 2 of those were just on – one of them was on a missed tackle by Catalan, which does not happen very often, and the other was a quarterback scramble. Georgia Southern, if I remember right. Georgia Southern had that long run. That's it. And that's what the 3-2-6 is designed to do, by the way. It's designed to limit big plays big time. And you got to have, obviously, your 2 linebackers. And it's one of the reasons why they stockpile those numbers, by the way. But they've got to be able to do it, right? They've got to be able to execute, read, react, right? Not read, think about it, react. That's, again, why Draper struggled. That's why the Zach Zymos, the kid out of Texas, why he got moved back to safety. Too much thinking. At the linebacker spot, you don't have a second to think. Just like quarterbacks got to make the right read on RPOs, linebackers got to make a right read on anything that the offense does, especially on play action and the RPO. And that's what makes those 3 linebackers, Bumper Pool, Grant Morgan, and Henry, so good. And I think Andrew Parker might be coming along too. We need to keep an eye on him. Again, that's in plays 10 yards or more, 7th or 6th fewest, and then 7th fewest on 20 yards or more. And that's in all of FBS. That's insane. And think about who you've played. Think about who you have played so far, and that number still holds up. Number 2 in the nation in passing yards per game. They rank number 74 on rushing yards. The bulk of that definitely came, again, Spiller's long run, that long run you gave up to Georgia Southern, and Georgia just absolutely destroying Arkansas. Let's just be real. Georgia tossed them around like rag dolls up front, something I was afraid of. they're going to do that to a lot of people. And I think if they really wanted to, they could be a rush-first offense where they're rushing the ball 40 times a game and good luck trying to stop them, right? They've got some talent up there on the offensive line. More importantly, not really more importantly, but as important, they've got some size up front. Their guys are big. But again, 84 in rushing yards allowed for Arkansas. Hogs ranked 24th in the country in the tackle for loss department. They average 7+ tackles for loss per game. I love that stat. I think it's as important to me as sacks, if I'm being real. Negative plays are huge. When it's not the other team doing it to themselves, getting offensive penalties on the offensive side of the ball, it's up to your defense at that point to put them behind the sticks. And it's important to do that. And I think the tackle for loss stat should be as important as the sack stat. Sack stat's great. It's great. It's great for what it is, but it's good to know that tackles for loss are occurring as well. And we're kind of getting to the bottom here. And again, I will get to your calls. Big man Ross wants to go. Big man, get back in there, and I'll put. You'll be first up. First call. Awesome time and awesome. I'm glad you liked it, man. We had several people in there. I did miss a few. You see what I'm talking about, James? Give me a second and we'll get there, buddy. Think of this as no different than listening to Drive Time, right? Listen to the radio. I'm not going to give you everything all at once. If I do that, everyone disappears by the end of the show. Yeah. So I will, if you want to get in, those lines will be open. I think I'm going to do it when I'm done here. Let me get to this final bit here. What are we coming up on? We're coming up. We're closing in on an hour. We're doing good. All right. Thoughts on this matchup. As it stands, this game will determine who's the second best team in the SEC West. The one that Mike Golick thinks so little of. I know he doesn't think we're bad. I don't know. I hate the Big Ten. But also, you got to give respect where respect's due. They've played really well this year. Maybe there is an argument to be made that the SEC overall has maybe taken a little step back. The West, not as dominant. But I think, too, the reason why people are saying that is because LSU's not undefeated and A&M's not undefeated. I think that's why they're saying that. But instead, you replace them with Ole Miss and Arkansas, and all of a sudden the legitimacy drops. You see how that works? Now, maybe, again, there's truth to it. Maybe Arkansas had no business being ranked in the top 25. You know what? When the dust settles, we'll revisit that. But I think I don't know. I disagree. I do still think the SEC West, especially when you talk about the grind. I know everybody beats themselves up. Any conference can make that argument. But there is little doubt about the talent, the coaching pedigree in this conference, especially in the SEC West, and what we've seen so far in the year. I think there's plenty to be excited about with both Ole Miss, Arkansas, obviously Alabama. And I still think A&M's got a chance at 9-3, 8-4. With that defense, if they get things figured out, I think Haynes King is supposed to come back, right? He's got a couple of weeks left or is he out for the year? I knew he was hurt. I knew he was out for a period of time. I wasn't sure how long. All right. So anyways, heading into week 7, this is the fight. This is the battle to be number 2 in the West. And that is a victory in and of itself. Arkansas ever being ranked in the top 10 is huge. Whether or not you think they should have been there, the fact that they earned that respect quickly like they did, you've got to tip your cap to Sam Pittman and the staff. But damn, wouldn't 5-1 look sexy? Oh, that would look so good. 4-1 looks good. 5-1 just looks so much better. By the way, 5 is my favorite number. It's my lucky number. Hogs have to rebound on the road against an elite offense in a very loud stadium. They haven't proven that they can do that. Of course, they've only played one true road test. Last year, you didn't have nothing like what you've got this year because of the limited amount of people that were available or limited amount of people that could go to the games. This year it's different. In their first true road test, they had the neutral site game down in Arlington. I get that. But their first true road test, they failed miserably. It is so important to get a win here just for that reason. It'll help the confidence level a little bit of all these guys, not just KJ or one person. All of them. Get their confidence up. We can do it in a hostile environment in the SEC on the road. Won't be the same crowd noise I had to deal with in Athens, but it'll be loud. Hogs got to learn how to win in tough environments. Got to do it. I know it's year 2, but you want to be ranked. You love the whatever you want to call it, infamy at this point. whatever you want to call it, and you want to remain there, that you stay there by that. If you like the limelight where it's at, you like being talked about, you're no longer the Cinderella story, but maybe you could fight your way back into that department, and that it starts this weekend. Apply pressure to Corral. Kid is on fire in 21, 16 touchdowns on the year in just 4 games. That is absolutely ridiculous. That's 4 scores a game just by him alone on average. Got to get consistent pressure, and this is going to be an interesting test for that defensive line. I think they can, but again, when he's given, especially, he doesn't have to have a clean pocket to pick your secondary apart. Even though Ole Miss pass defense has shown to be suspect at times this year, I think it's extremely important for Arkansas to establish the run, just like our guy said a minute ago. Let KJ, and see, it's like he was reading my notes or something. Let KJ and the Sunshine backs loose, baby. Hopefully it'll force Ole Miss to come up and play a little bit more tight man coverage. Now, they have struggled in that. And when you're able to establish the run, you got to come up closer to the line of scrimmage. You got to be in that receiver's face. You got to be available if you have to get off a block and make a play. You're going to do that by coming up closer to the line of scrimmage. You can do it in zone, but typically teams will switch over to man just so they don't, so they get that they get that island that they desperately want and get to test their skills. On top of that, they're going to be available if someone tries to bounce outside and make a play out in the flats. You're able to read, react, and make the play, so they'll play tight man coverage. So hopefully you do that, and then all of a sudden KJ can hit them with a little play action or coming out of the RPO and drop some dimes 20-plus yards downfield, because Ole Miss has shown to be a little suspect in that area. So had Georgia, but Georgia had the front 7 to make up for that deficiency. Ole Miss has got some ballers. They've got some playmakers, but overall, as a product on the defense, they are not on the same planet as Georgia is. They're on the moon. I don't know where they're at, but they're not anywhere near. Not many teams are. Not many teams are on the same level with them. Cut your penalties and your penalty average in half this game. Continue to push the turnover margin in the plus department. Hogs have a legit shot at 5-1 already at this point in the season, which is incredible. This could be one of 3 things for the Hogs. Either it was a wake-up call to Arkansas as a team. They did not play with the same chip on their shoulder that they have under Sam Pittman. It was gone last week. I'm not saying they let go of the rope, but it was not the same thing that we had seen under Pittman a year ago, and it wasn't the same thing that we've seen so far this year. They were not playing with that chip on their shoulder. You need to get back to that. That, whatever you want to call it, blue-collar, chip on your shoulder, typical Arkansas, like pissed off, angry at the world. Let's go out and show them we deserve that respect. You got to do it, and you do it here. You do that against Ole Miss, they're not going to respond well to that level of physical football. They're not built like Arkansas is. They're just not. They don't have the physical toughness that Arkansas does. Now, that doesn't mean they can't play physical. After all, these are SEC caliber players, but for the most part, what we've seen this year, they don't respond well to teams being physical. To be fair, Alabama is also, they're very, very physical. But so it could either be that. It could be, again, it's a wake-up call. It could be a sign of things to come. It really could have been. Maybe that Georgia game was a sign of things to come, that they had no business being ranked at all. I'm not buying that, but that could be one of them. Or it could have been just a blip on the radar against maybe one of the best, if not the best team in college football. So a win tomorrow keeps Arkansas in the conversation and on the minds of analysts and the media across the country. Hog fans enjoyed their time in the spotlight. Again, if you want to get back there, this is as a team. Not that the fans have any power in this, but as a team, if you want to get back in that, whether for the staff, you know what they're thinking about. Boy, this looks good recruiting. For the players, it's respect, right? Not that it's not for the coaching staff, but for the players, it's respect. You want that like what you had before going into Georgia. You start to earn that back this week. So, saying all that, oh, by the way, I love Sam Pittman's response. Look, we're talking about being underdogs. I don't know if you guys saw this. Look, we've been underdogs in 14 of our 16 games, including Saturday. We're doing things right. We've just got to do them better. I love that. He said that we're not going to let Georgia – he'll be damned if he's going to let Georgia beat Arkansas back-to-back weeks, and that is something you're going to have to overcome. You got punched in the mouth. Your mandible was dislocated from your face, from your skull. Put it back in. Rub some dirt on it. Get to work, son. Get to work. Let's whoop some ass. Let's do what you did a year ago. Maybe you don't get all the turnovers, but you pop them in the mouth. They may not have Ely. They're going to be without another key receiver. They're going to be without a guard, a starting offensive lineman. You're mostly healthy for them. I mean, again, we probably won't even know the real story with injuries until next year. I mean, that's just the way Sam Pittman does it. But you feel like you might have an advantage in that department. But again, you got to play this game down there. So if Bama beats Georgia, I'll be shocked. Keep ball away from Corral as long as possible. That's going to be hard to do. They got a taste of the loud atmosphere, so hopefully they're more prepared this week. They also just played an 11 a.m. game. It's also true. So they have that under their belt as well. That's very true. Don't forget, get the likes up. Get the likes. All right, phone lines they're open back up. But before we do that, I'm going to give you my prediction. Like I said, Arkansas has to show they've got fight in them. They still got that chip on their shoulder. I don't like how they responded last week at all. I don't like they didn't put up. I mean, obviously not putting up any points on anybody, it's embarrassing. Either that hung over their heads all week and they mope about and they let that beat them, or like Sam Pittman said, I'll be damned if I'm going to let Georgia beat us back-to-back weeks. That's not happening. I believe Sam when he says that. But on the other hand, Matt Corral is playing some incredible football right now. And I'm not saying you put him there, but I'm not going to debate anybody. I'm not dying on the hill that he doesn't belong on the Heisman list. Corral is playing like a Heisman for the most part. Now, again, when the dust settles, that could change. I don't know if he's that caliber quarterback where he can go week in and week out, throw up, I don't know, 4 scores a game. Like, come on, not many quarterbacks could do that. If he does that, then, and if assuming Ole Miss finishes with a respectable record, let's say 9-3, 10-2, which is possible for them. If you talk to them, they'll tell you they're 11-1. If that happens, yeah, he's going to be on the Heisman list because you got there because of Matt Corral and what, the great job that Lane Kiffin has done with him in that offense. That worries me. The penalties worry me. And I know Ole Miss, again, they've got penalty issues of their own, but they're at home. This series has that feeling of whoever's at home probably will win this game. It has that feeling to it. But not this year. I've got Arkansas going down there and opening up a can of whoop-ass. They're going to respond this weekend. I think they do. I don't think Sam was going to let these guys mope around. Do you? We've seen what he's done. I like the Hogs 35-28, baby. That's where I'm at with it. I think Arkansas has it in them. I think they have it in them. And again, you talk about their defense, dude. There's nothing to brag about outside of their ability to get to the quarterback. They have been pretty good in that department, but outside of that, our offensive line, the Razorbacks, are not giving up a ton of sacks. They're not giving up a ton of pressure. Georgia is just not even fair to talk about. That is the best team in the country. Ole Miss is not anywhere near on that planet with them. Again, they could get to them a couple of times, 2 or 3 times, but I like the Hogs, man. I like the Hogs in this because I think they're too physical. I think they've got speed on both sides of the ball. Treylon Burks, I think, is the healthiest he's been at any point this year other than going into week 1. But, Treylon Smith, the plethora of running backs you have, they're going to be questionable 3 starters. We know at least 2 of them are definitely not playing. Ely is in concussion protocol. I think they're banged up coming out of that Alabama game, and I don't know that last year we ever saw Ole Miss come out of a loss and continue to be great. We know what their record ended up being. We know it ended up still being kind of disappointing despite it being a COVID year, whereas Arkansas responded every week and they don't let go of the ball. They didn't always win those games, and, yeah, you had a couple of blowouts. But you go back to the seniors, the super seniors, the experience that you have, Barry Odom, and what he was able to do. I think he's kryptonite to Corral. I do. I think the secondary is going to – I don't know if they're going to pick him clean or not. I don't think they get what they did last year, but I think they're going to be in the plus department, the turnover department. But Ole Miss can force fumbles. They don't have a lot of picks. But I think when you look up and down, Arkansas is a mismatch in a lot of areas for Ole Miss. I know they're favored. All right? I know they're favored. But how often, like Sam Pittman has said, this year, how many times they were supposed to lose to Texas, they didn't. They're supposed to lose to A&M, they didn't. All right? The only game that just kills you is that Georgia game and not being able to cover the spread there. They are favored at 66.3%, according to the ESPN Football Power Index. That spread has gone from, I think, 6. Now it's down to 5.5 at the over-under at 66.5. So, obviously, I think Arkansas, they cover that, and I think Arkansas gets the win. 35-28. I think it's – I don't know that – I mean, maybe you have to rely on field goals, but that's just straight up going up and down the field. I don't know that Ole Miss can respond in the same way that Arkansas has shown that they can. It is, again, this is going to be the toughest environment. That was something they didn't have to deal with a year ago. You didn't have to turn around and go on the road and play in front of, however, 70, 75, 85, 95. They didn't have to do that last year in front of all those thousands and thousands of fans. That is the part that, and I think that had something to do with it against Georgia. It was their first true road test. But something else, and I'm talking about, for like KJ Jefferson at quarterback, for some of those starters on the offensive line, some of the guys on the defense, because they played last year and that was it, or they were limited in years before that. Now they're starting, and this is really their first test. But, again, I like that you've had seniors who have been here long enough to know, super seniors who've been here long enough to know they're going to bounce back. I don't see someone like Bumper Pool, Grant Morgan, Henry. I don't see KJ being rattled too much. That is something also I'm a little concerned about, how KJ responds. But I think you let the running backs loose. You run the ball. You do what you did last year. On defense, not saying you get the takeaways, but they also just flat out dominated. I mean, Ole Miss couldn't move the ball. Even on drives where they couldn't score. They struggled. And Arkansas, the way they run that, the way they're able to rotate their linebackers, keep guys fresh. Defensive line has a little bit more quality depth to it. I think they're going to bounce back. And they're going to shock some people. So, yeah. All right. Phone lines are officially open. That's how we're going to close this thing out. Ole Miss Stadium holds 65,000. There's still over 6,000 tickets unsold. Yeah, they're not 100% capacity. Or they're not. They haven't sold 100%. KJ is back home. That is true. He is back in the SIP where he's from. So maybe he plays lights out, and that's something else. Like, you talk about what Arkansas is able to do, with Texas kids playing the Longhorns or going down to Texas on the road in Arlington in the way they played. So maybe there's something there. Hearing that Ole Miss can't even get a sellout for this game, I think they will. Ole Miss fans, say what you want about them, but I think they do end up getting close. I don't think they get 100%, but I think they end up with I think they shrink that number down a little bit. Run RPO every play, spread the Mississippi defense. All right, let's check our phone lines. We have someone in there. Big man Ross. Hope you're ready, my man. Here we go. We're going to close it out with these guys. Did it work? Oh, no, it didn't. Here we go. Here we go. All right. What's up, big man Ross? What you got for me, brother? Shows your mic's muted on your end. He says Big Donnelly says he's new to Discord. It's all right, man. All right, Ross. Big man Ross. All right, well, we're going to have to move him back down. I don't know how to do that. Move to audience. There we go. Okay. Big Donnelly, you're up, brother. Let's get you in here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, brother? What do you got for me?
Hey, man, I just got to say this. Just because we lost to Georgia doesn't mean everybody needs to lose their head. We've got still a great team. I think Pittman's going to have them ready. We go into Ole Miss tomorrow and beat the brakes off of them. I'm going to call 4 interceptions like we got 6 last year. I think we've still got a great team. We hadn't lost to the Coastal Carolinas of the world. So I think we're pretty pissed off. We're going to come out with our hair on fire. Go Hogs.
I love it. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
All right, move him back to audience. This is working out pretty good. I like it. All right, Ross, are you there? It shows that you raised your hand again. Here we go. You there, Ross? I think you're having some trouble with your mic. You got to unmute it. Yeah, it shows that you've muted your mic. All right. Sorry, Ross. We're going to have to move you back to the audience. All right. That's it. I will see you guys on the post-game show tomorrow. Not immediately following. Sometimes it takes a few minutes. But, yeah, you guys heard my score, my prediction. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be an uphill battle without a doubt. Ole Miss is like 3-15 after playing Bama. Yeah, they don't have a very good record after playing Bama. Thank God they don't have a bye week coming into this game. I'll say that. If you're on the app, you have to accept the microphone. Yeah, you do have to accept the microphone. But sorry we couldn't get that working for you, Ross. Hopefully we'll get you in tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do the same thing. We'll have the mics. We'll have that open. Again, if you guys want to join, let me send you that invite again. If you want to join, I'm going to send you. I'm going to put the link here for you guys to join. Bow, 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 bow. There we go. If you guys want to join, if you want to get in on the call tomorrow, we're going to open those lines. I don't know if Arkansas loses, it might be a little rough, but we'll do it. I'm here for it. So I'm surprised we didn't use 4-man front against Georgia. Do you think we will ever go 4-man front in the future? Well, they kind of like to do what you call what do they call it? Like a 3-man over or 3-man over kind of multiple front look from time to time, where you'll have someone, he'll either stand up or he'll put his hand in the dirt and he'll rush the edge or he'll drop back. Mostly it's usually Trey Williams. He's usually the one bringing the pressure. Trey's going to have to have a big game. I'll say this. I think no matter what, again, you heard my score, my most valuable player, win or lose, I say this like every week, but I just have this feeling we're waiting on Treylon Burks to have that moment. Why not against this spotty Ole Miss defense? I think it ends up being Burks, win or lose. I think he puts up probably just a ridiculous amount of yards on offense and makes some plays for him, and probably – if you get to where you're scoring on every other drive or every drive, you got to feel like he's going to be in the mix. So that would be my projected MVP. So a win puts Hogs one away from going bowling. I think they're going bowling. Win or lose. Even win or lose, I think they're still going bowling. All right. Woo Pig. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the post-game show. Go Hogs.